Okay, first I'm gonna show you how to retwist dreads that are already started. You need to make sure that the hair is washed and conditioned. What is in her hair is some leave-in conditioner. So I washed it and I conditioned it and then put leave-in conditioner in her hair. In order to twist the dread, you're gonna need a towel, of course. Once they wash the hair, you're gonna have to dry it. So you put the towel around the neck. The reason that you put the towel around the neck is because you want, when you're gonna use double prong clips to clip it. If you look at the clip itself, it's the one that doesn't have the connection. The other one is a duckbill clip. So you want these. Later on in the tutorial, I'll show you why. But so you need this clip, a towel around the neck, like I said. You can actually stick the clip just so you can be ready to clip it down or whatever. But this is the comb that you'll need. This comb is the one that it actually has smaller. It gets smaller in the beginning and it gets a little bit thicker, in the bottom or whatever. Normally what I use is twist and lock gel in order to do it. This particular time, she has her own personal product that she likes to use in her hair. Normally customers will do that. They have their own preference, and so I don't really argue with them. I just go ahead with, with whatever they desire. What she uses in her hair is a olive oil. She has a castor oil, and then I think it's called emu oil that she actually mixes with another conditioner. She puts it together and it's healthy for her hair. Her hair is actually very, very healthy and very soft. And so, yeah, so now I'm going to show you how to actually twist the dread. Now, what you would do is she's actually taking her own jar and mixed this stuff together. In the jar, as you can see, it's just the old jar. And she took it and she mixed the stuff together that she needed. The thing that I like about it is because it has oil in it, and as well as it has conditioning, so the dreads aren't getting dry. The dreads get real dry, and they get brittle and they break. So for what she's using, it's really really nice, real soft, and it's conditioning the hair as well as oiling it at the same time. So I like that. And so what you do is you open the top. This is what it looks like. When you open the top, you want to dip your comb if you want to, and kind of dab it on the hair a little bit. So where the part is, come closer, baby. But you dab it on the hair. You separate the dread. Because the hair is wet, separating the dread is easier. So you will separate the dread. You don't have to part. A lot of people part. When you part, it breaks the dread. So don't part. Just take the hair. Like I said, the dread separates itself. Now, some clients' hair is matted together. And so in that case, you will have to, if they're matted together, you just take the ends of the dread and you begin to pull. With it being wet, it makes it easier. If you do it dry, you're going to pop their hair. So, but in her case, that's not her case. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to pull the dread up. Like I said, just pull the dread separates itself. And then you just comb. So that's all of the new growth that she has in her hair. I'm combing it down, so that's what's locking it. If you can see, the comb won't go through because it's locked right there. You grab it, you position the comb, you want to hold it like this. You always twist the dread with the time, never against the time. And you do that, people's hair, their curl goes with the time, it goes with the clock. If you twist against that, you're actually untwisting the dread instead of twisting it. Instead, you're actually unlocking the dread instead of locking it. And so you just grab the dread, like I said, go with time. So that means go to the right. So as you can see, I'm allowing the comb, and I'll do that for you again. So you can see, I'm actually allowing the comb to twist the dread for me. I'm not twisting it. A lot of people do it with their hand, and I'll show you. That's not the proper way to do it. This doesn't twist the dread as well as me using the teeth of the comb and actually twisting the dread. So therefore, comb the hair out, make sure it locks at the bottom, and then you spin your hand with the comb, pull back, and as you can see, the teeth is what's locking the dread. Then what you do is you continue to twist the dread until the whole dread has gotten tightened. In some cases, when you're using, most cases when you're using a lock and twist gel or a created oil, you will see kind of build up a little bit. Now, depending on the product will determine if that build up is going to go away. As you can see, once I twist her dread, the product that she's using, it's actually fading away. It's not thick. And so once she goes under the dryer, it's going to completely dry up because it's a naturally made oil. And so, like I said, I twist the dread, the clip, the double prong clip. Let's not forget that. We're going to take it. You can clip it under the dread. You take another one. You clip it on the towel and the dread. The reason that you do this is so that the dread in itself will stay straight. And then you take another clip and you put it at the bottom. That gives it its weight, and so the your client can keep they have that nice twisted dread as well as they can keep their length. And just for the next one, we go over it again the same way we did the first one. The difference, I would show you how to connect the clips and why the clips needed to be duckbill. Why they needed to be double pronged, instead of duckbill, is because we're going to twist the dread. We separated it. Like we said, the hair is healthy. It's easy to separate. You grab the hair, comb it, locks. Once you do that, flip, twist. Let the comb do the twisting for you. You don't have to use your hand to do that. Now, you will have some customers who will have fuzzy dreads. Now, when that happens, where I'm using my finger, it is good for you to actually take the palm of your hands, if you ever heard somebody say palm twist, and you can actually twist it. Now, what that causes is, instead of the dread being nappy or looking frizzy, if you can look at this dread, you can see the frizzy. See how the hair is coming out of the dread? Right here, you can actually see. Well, this is what the palm twisting is for. So you're basically using the palm of your hand, and you're taking those pieces of hair and you're rolling it with the dread. And so once you clip it down, and once they get from under the dryer, it'll be more of a neater dread instead of a frizzier dread. And so this is where the double prong clip comes in. You can actually clip the dread inside this one, inside this one, and on the outside of that one. And you continue with the process over and over. I'm going to do a couple of them real quick for you. Given even myself, when I learned how to do the dreads, I didn't learn how to do them as fast. It took me a while. I think it took me a year or two before I could actually get the pace down. So don't be too worried about the pace. The pace will come. The speed will come. Just worry about perfecting the dread in itself. And then eventually you'll get to a place to where you can speed through it and go fast. As you can see, I am not ripping her hair at all. I'm not ripping it. I'm more so just pulling the dread and going along with the pattern that was already put in her hair. Well, that's all for showing you how to retwist new dreads. If you can see, her hair is very tight. We'll come back later and show you what it'll look like. Of course, unless you've seen someone dreads already that have already been retwisted, I'm pretty sure you see what they look like after they've come from under the dryer. What I'm going to show you now is how to start a dread from beginning. Of course, she does, she gets sew-ins on top of her hair so that she can kind of let her dreads grow. So she has loose hair to leave out hair in order to cover up her tracks. But in this case, when you're starting someone's hair fresh, the client will tell you how small you would they want them. And so you go off of that. Normally what I do is I ask them if they want, I use my fingers to determine. I'll ask them if they want a pinky, a half of a pinky. And then, you know, I will go up and ask them if they want as big as, you know, my thumb. Most of the time, people will ask to get them real skinny. And the reason they want them real skinny is because they say they want a lot of dreads. You want to be careful of that because you can give somebody a real small dread, but over time, these dreads are going to get longer. When they get longer, they're going to have a lot of weight on the end of them. And when they have a lot of weight on the end of them, the weight on something that's very thin in the beginning can cause a dread to pop. So you want to make sure that you tell your client, listen, I understand you want small dreads, but it's healthier for you to go on a bigger scale so that you'll have more for that dread to actually hold on to the longer that the weight gets on it with length. And so, but for example, if the client wants a finger, one pinky, I say okay, and given everybody has different fingers, and so you have to measure that out yourself. I normally do about, I won't even say an inch. Maybe you'll say a half an inch, possibly all the way around. And, you can kind of twist that hair in itself if you're not too sure. You can kind of twist that hair, and the size in itself will tell you, you know, if it's, you can kind of pull on your client's head a little bit. Normally I do that. You don't have to ask them to excuse you, but I pull on the hair so I can see how much of that space moves. So I can kind of tell, you know, whether that their hair, and depending on their texture, will tell you whether or not if their hair can even stand dreads to be that small. Of course, some clients have a thicker hair density, so of course you would have to, you know, make a decision according to that. But at the same token, if you feel that it's okay, then you go along with it. You kind of measured it. But once again, you won't be twisting with the finger. A lot of people do that, but that can come loose. You want to twist it with the comb, separating the hair, using the comb. Start this wet, washed, conditioned, started wet. A lot of the times, sometimes I use like you can use black gel, depending on the person's hair texture, but it will leave a buildup if you continue to use that. So you can stay with a twist and lock gel or whatever that client prefers. So you do it just the same way as if you're going to retwist one. The only difference is the comb doesn't lock this time. So you just start from the bottom and you twist. And you pull. And as you can see, the teeth of the comb is twisting the dread. So it's knitting it pretty tight. Now, because you're just starting to dread, you will get this little curly look on the end where it looks like, it's like, why does their hair look like a curl? Over time, that curl will turn, it will lock once their hair locks, and then you can even do the palm rolling to lock it. You would secure this dread the same way you would do the other one. Sometimes if the client's hair is shorter, like say they had a quarter of this length here, So that means the dread would be probably down here. You would just clip it one time like this. And that's it. But because the hair is longer, just so they'll get that length, I do the 3. And so we're going to do one more. Part it, like I said, about a 1/2 inch all the way around. Comb it through, because given you are going to glide this comb all the way through. The comb does the work. Your hand just twists the comb, but the comb does the most of it. And you just spin and pull. Sometimes it gets a little bit, because the hair is thick, it gets a little bit harder to pull the hair through. And you just grab the dread so you make sure you don't hurt the client, but you just continue to twist. And once again, you put a double prong clip to the tip, to the root. One in the middle. And one at the end. So if you can see, this is the beginning to some fairly, they're kind of small. They're about the smallest that you would ever want to go wearing dreads, but that's pretty much it. And so there you are. I showed you how to retwist dreads that have already been started. And I've also showed you how to start dreads from the ground up. Let's keep in mind, sometimes our clients will come to us and tell us that they use beeswax, or some people prefer honey or some things, but you got to remember that a sticky substance can cause buildup, and eventually buildup can be deadly to the dread, and it can start to it can just start to look more so funky, you know, instead of a nice just a nice round dread. You'll see that over time, especially dealing with certain clients. People are going to come and they're going to have all kind of stuff going on with their dreads. But just stick to the basics. Like I said, a twist and lock, or Jamaican lime, something like that. But just be cautious of the things that you do use. And sometimes you're going to have to tell their clients, you understand what they use, but they're going to have to do what you feel is healthier for their hair in order for their dreads to last as well as to look healthy. And so that's my dread tutorial. Thank you so much for enjoying it. Post your comments if you like. That's it.